So today we'll be discussing chapter number 8, data handling. And in this chapter, we'll be studying about the different data types, the numbers in Python, strings, list, tuples, and dictionaries. Though we have got, the different chapters, based on the string, list, tuples, and dictionaries. But in this particular chapter, we'll be talking about a brief about these data types, right? How you store information into into these data types, and how information in these data types look like, right? So in any language, there are some fundamentals we need to know before we can write even the most elementary programs. So this chapter includes some such fundamentals like data types, variables, operators, expressions, Python standard library modules, and debugging. First of all, we'll be talking about the data type. Data type means the type of information we store in the memory system. That's a basic and simplest definition of data type. In Python, we'll be dealing with the numeric, and the numeric consists of integers, complex, and floats. Then we're talking about the dictionary, then Boolean, sets, sequence, and sequence has got string, list, and tuples. These are the data types which we are going to study, except sets, because that is not in the syllabus right now, right? Generally, when you talk about the dictionary and set, there's only one difference that, in dictionary and set, both are enclosed within the opening and closing, uh, you know, uh, curly brackets, right? But the only difference is that in dictionary, the elements are recognized as a key value pair, and here the elements are recognized independently, isn't it? So that is the basic difference between the dictionary and sets. Now we'll be talking about the rest of the data types one by one. First of all, it is numbers. So numbers, as it is clear by the name that the number data types are used to store numeric values in Python. And the numbers in Python have following core data types. One is integer, floating, and complex numbers. X equal to 1. And if I say type of X, it will give me class int. X equal to 1.10. When I say type of X, it gives me float. X equal to 35E3, or a minus 87.7 something. When I say type of X, Y, or Z, it gives me float. X3 plus 5J, it gives me complex data type. Okay, so these are certain numbers data type segregated in terms of integers, float, and complex. These are some more examples of complex. C equal to 3 plus 6J. This print type of C, it will give me complex. When I say a C equal to complex 3 comma C, it will automatically be converted into complex data type. And when I say print type within bracket C1, it gives me complex. And when you display the C1, it will simply say 3 plus 6J, right? And some attributes of the functions, attribute and functions of the complex numbers are the real and the conjugate. We already know about that. Okay. So the imaginary, the real part is going to give me the real part, and imaginary is going to give me the imaginary part. The conjugate of the number is basically just the opposite sign of the number which is given here. When I say C equal to 3.6J, so conjugate of this will always be like 3 minus 6J, something like this. Then some mathematical calculations can be done in complex number. We'll be talking about those later on. Then the strings. The strings in Python is basically nothing but a collection of characters enclosed within the single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes, right? They are in terms of in Python they are treated as strings, right? As so there's no difference in single quote and double quotes, but obviously there's a difference in triple quotes, because the triple quotes can be used to store information in multiple lines. Okay, so like in this case, when we talk about easy to learn, which has been specified in triple inverted commas, it stores this entire information exactly in the same way as we have specified here, right? So when I say print A, B, C, and D, you can clearly see the D is containing, three lines. So it stores this information exactly the same way as we have specified while assigning to a particular variable. Okay. In case of C, though we have mentioned it as within triple inverted commas, but we have used backslash. So backslash what exactly does? It removes all the spaces afterwards in that particular line, and that's why easy no space to no space learn will be stored within C. Okay, and as a result, the C will be containing easy to learn. Though we have specified them in three lines, but ultimately the data will be stored in a single line, right? So ultimate advantage of using triple quotes is that whenever you want to store information in multiple lines, exactly the same way the data is basically been stored in a particular variable. Moving on to the next one, uh, the concatenation of the strings. If I say A, B, and C, the data has been mentioned, in these three variables. And if I say, and there's one more variable called D, and I say print A plus B plus C plus D. So data within these variables will be picked up, concatenated, and along with the spaces, along with the spaces, the entire content of the data will be concatenated and displayed. It's like this. This was there in part A, it was there in B, it was there in C, and this easy to learn was there in D. All these contents are basically been concatenated and displayed, right? So moving on to the next one, there's one thing which is very very important, related to a string, is that it's a immutable data type. That means it does not allow you to make change in place. So if I say name equal to Python, okay, if I say name equal to Python and you try to make a change here in the zeroth location, it will simply generate an error that str object does not support the item assignment. Okay, how you traverse in a string, by simply picking up the element one element at a time, by simply saying for ch in subject print ch, one character or one element will be picked up at a time from the string, and displayed like that. It'll keep on going like that until the element does not get finished. This one way. Second way is that there's one thing, like which is very very important. If you don't make use of, like in this way, it will simply display the information vertically. And if you just want to display the information horizontally, you need to make use of a keyword called end equal to space. This is basically used to uh, uh, you know uh, and it is used as a separator. So when I say this information will be separated by space, so every content will be concatenated with the space and displayed like this, right? If I say comma, if I say comma within double inverted commas, the entire content will be separated with the commas, something like this. Moving on to the next one, the list. A list, as this is similar to the normal list which you use in our daily life. It's a collection of homogeneous and heterogeneous elements. That means you can have, like integers, you can have floats, you can have the combination of both, or combination of all the data types which are available in the Python. This is the way how you declare a list in general in Python. L equal to square brackets, opening and closing square brackets. That's the way how you declare a list, right? L equal to 1, 2, 3. This is basically nothing but the list of integer, list of strings, right? List of heterogeneous elements, and this is nothing but the nested list. A list within a list is known as nested list. So these are various forms, how you create a list. We'll be studying in details about the list in the next class. Now, moving on to the tuples. Tuple is again a similar type of data type in as of your list, but the only difference is that tuple is mutable, right? It can store all the type of information which can be stored in list, but the only difference is that it's a mutable. That means we cannot delete any item from the tuple, right? So the entire tuple can be deleted. That there's no problem in that. The declaration is something like this: t equal to opening and closing circular brackets is simply going to create a tuple for you. This is tuple having heterogeneous elements, and when I say when you display it like this, it will simply display information. If you do, if you store information like that without any bracket, and then also the information is considered as a tuple, right? So whenever you want to store information, you do not want any sort of modification in that. You can always declare that that information in terms of tuples, right? So this is the basics of tuples. We have got a fixed chapter on that, the complete chapter on that. So we'll be starting the details about the tuples in that chapters. And talking about the dictionary, dictionary is basically nothing but a kind of data type in Python, which stores information in terms of key value pair. So, and the declaration is something like this: dict equal to opening and closing, curly brackets, right? Uh, when I say dict equal to, one column Python, so this is one particular element. This is another element, and this is another element. So when you display it, it will simply display the information like this, where each and every information, each and every value, this is value, is basically been retrieved or recognized by the keys, called, like, in this case, 1, 2, and 3. So that is all about the data type which are there in your in this particular chapter, right?